Hi Vanity Fair, it's me Isis, and today I'm going to be teaching you some of my household slang. Okay, so starting off we have use. Use is typically referred to people, like a group of people, so instead of saying, hey you, it'd be, hey use. You see what I mean? Often followed up by saying use guys. That's a very typical way to address a group of people in my family. Next we have cute as a bed bug. Despite bed bug's reputation, if someone says this to you, it's a very good thing. Often, like if I dress up and I'm like, oh, here's my outfit, I would love to hear, oh, you look as cute as a bed bug. It's a very loving compliment to receive. Next, oh, Dingle Fritz. Dingle Fritz sounds like a funny word, right? But it's actually used in very negative situations. So if you're really upset, but you're not in a situation where you can curse, it's like, ugh, you Dingle Fritz. I'm so angry right now. But it also can be used in like a nickname sense. So like, oh, you're so silly, you little Dingle Fritz. But most of the time it is out of pure anger. Now reading this, you might think this means Tillamook. And that's where you'd be wrong. Tillamook is the cheese, right? But in our household, specifically, my grandma loves to pronounce it as Tillamook. Now, my grandma is from the East Coast. English is her second language, so there's plenty of little things that just don't add up in terms of pronunciation, but whenever you see this, just so you know, it's Tillamook. Oh, delightful word, crunk. Crunk has a meaning already. People often associate it with when you're crunk, you're crazy drunk, but that's not how I associate it. Not in this house. Crunk is just when you're in an extreme silly mood to the point where you're acting maybe a little loopy, everything is super funny, but you're sober. It's a great word, it's one of my favorite phrases. Okay, ta-dow. Okay, so very easy way to explain this. Ta-dow is like ta-da. You can plug this in pretty much in any place you would say ta-da. But it's not like ta-da, it's not that inflection, it's very flat, just ta-dow. Ta-dow. So you say it like that. This word is often used in the middle of a sentence rather than at the end, like to wrap everything up like a celebration. So an example using it in a sentence would be like, I went to the mailbox and ta-dow, I got a letter from my friend. Something like that. Hour of power. Despite what this says, this is never an hour long. This just means it's time to clean, it's time to do some chores, and it usually lasts like all day. But it's like, oh, let's do an hour of power, it rhymes, it sounds good, but it's not an enjoyable experience. Oh, make groceries. Most people say when they're going to the store, I'm going to get groceries, or I'm just going to the store, right? I'm going shopping. No, we say make groceries. We're going to go make groceries. I will say, it doesn't make sense. It's not something I say, but my mom says it every time we go out. Also, making groceries does not necessarily mean going to the grocery store. It can mean going to the mall, going to the bookstore, going to the craft store. It's just going out, getting your shopping done. Another word similar to Tillamook, where it looks like one thing, you would think that this is pronounced secondhand, that's where you'd be wrong. This is going back to English as a second language thing. This is actually pronounced sekohan. This actually stemmed from my great-grandmother, again, very much so English as a second language, more so than my grandma. She read this with her very thick accent and pronounced it sekohan, and it just kind of stuck. Oh, this one is something I am guilty of. This is giving rid of. As a child, I would say this as part of my baby talk, right? And as I grew up, my parents never corrected me. So when I was 13 was when I figured out that this was wrong. So every once in a while, this will slip out of me. But I will say, if you give something away, but why is that a saying? Why is giving rid of so bad? It makes more sense if you really think about it. Comes on. This goes back to like the beginning with use, right? This is also used to address like a group of people. So it would be like, hey guys, comes-ons. Comes-ons together. Let's do this. It's like saying come on, but with extra S's. It rolls off the tongue. Scissor. So if you're talking about one scissors, one pair of scissors, right? No, it would just be a scissor. Can you hand me a scissor? I need to go buy a new scissor. If there's more than one scissor, then it would be scissors. That makes more sense. Donk, another great word, often means unintelligent, stupid, dumb. So like, ugh, that person's just a donk. I don't really like them. They're kind of annoying. And it also can be used like most things, like most nicknames, like, oh, you're being silly, don't be a donk, like whatever. Skag. Later I learned actually had a bad meaning, but besides that, skag has a totally different connotation in this house. Well, it still can be used in like a negative way, like, oh, you're just being a skag. It's more so like you're being annoying, kind of. My group of friends used to call themselves the Skags in middle school, which now that I know that it has a totally different meaning, it's not really a great thing to say. I don't really say this anymore, but yeah, this is a good term to have on here. It definitely makes me, you know, think back to the simpler times. Gina, okay. No one in my family is named Gina, but everyone goes by Gina. Everyone responds to Gina. We call the animals Gina. So if someone yells Gina, often like the dog, the cats, I'll come running. My mom does this. It's my mom's nickname for all of us. My mommy's baby. If you're looking at it, there's an apostrophe. So my mommy's baby. So my mom's child. So it'd be a sibling. And that's where you'd be wrong. It's just saying it incorrectly. It's more so meaning like, oh, I am your mom and you are my baby. That's what it's supposed to get across, but it doesn't come out that way. But overall, a very, very loving statement. Pra. When you say this, you have to roll your R's. If you can't roll your R's, you might as well just never say this word. Pra is like onomatopoeia, you know, like boom, clap, sound in my heart. I don't know what else to say, right? It means like a crash. It can mean something dropped, someone fell, like, oh, this woman was walking down the stairs, pra, on the ground. It means she fell. See what I mean? It's similar to tadao in the sense that it's often placed in the middle of sentences. Huh, my favorite. This is my favorite word ever. Hedo. The actual origin of this is, it's a long story, right? And I know it looks like hello, kind of sounds like hello, but don't get it twisted, it means goodbye. It's also, you can see the word here, hedo, hedo. Really, that over-articulated D? No. It's a very soft D, hedo. It just rolls off of you. Often can be said with like a little accent. That's how I always say, it's like a hedo with a little wave, right? This actually used to be the way that I would sign off my YouTube videos, but after a while I was like, no one's gonna understand this except for the people that really know me, so I just stopped doing that. It's not something I typically say anymore, but at one point in my life, I was saying it all the time. And since hedo means goodbye, I need to say hedo to all of you. Thank you so much to Vanity Fair for having me. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it and dislike it if you didn't. Sorry, I know that's like my thing, but I might as well put it on your channel. Subscribe to Vanity Fair because I'm sure they would love to have more viewers. And with that in mind, I hope you all have a magical April Fool's Day.